Today we will be choosing the most useful measure. So remember, we've got these central tendencies, and we're going to be looking at two of them in particular today, the mean and the median, for the first part of this lesson. So here's a data set, and Makiko read 10 books during the summer vacation. The list shows the number of pages in the books. Use the data for exercises 1 through 4. So find the mean. So the mean, remember, is the average. And so all we're going to do is just take all these numbers and take 185. We're going to add that to 160. We're going to add that to 190. We've got to add 510. That's a lot bigger than the last two, or last three. 125, 185. We've got 165. And then we also have this another 185, so a few that are 185, and then another 145 and 200. So we're adding up all of those numbers, and then we're dividing. What are we dividing by? We talked about it last couple of lessons. We're dividing by the number of numbers. So we're dividing by 10. You see there's 10 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we go ahead and add up all those numbers, and we end up with 2,050 pages that she ended up reading. And if we go ahead and divide by 10, that just moves the decimal one space to the left, leaving us with 205. So the mean, the average data, or average number of pages that she read was 205. Well, the median, we have to line up the numbers in order. And so when we go ahead and do that, I'll start with the smallest one, 125, so write that one down. And then I look for the next smallest, and I see it's 145, so I'll write that one down. And then I see 160, and then I see 165. So again, it's important to mark off what you've done. So I'm just putting a little dot on top to show that I've checked that. And then I see 1, 2, 3 185s. So let's write those down. And it's important to make sure you write down all of them, because we're trying to find the middle number of all these numbers that we have. And then we look at 190. And then we have 200. And the last one was 510. Alright, so let's count them to make sure we got them all. So we should have 10 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, since we have an even number of numbers, our actual median is going to be between two numbers. We might have to do some extra work when we find this median. So we work our way into the middle. So here's 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the median is right in between these two numbers. So there's 4 on this side, and there's 4 on this side. So these two numbers, the median's right in between. Well, these happen to be the same number. So the median happens to be those two numbers itself, because they're exactly the same. Otherwise, we'd have to add them together and divide by 2. So the median is 185. So it says, Makiko wants to know the typical number of pages in the books she read. Is the mean or the median more useful, and why? Well, let's take a look at them. 205 is the mean. And if we look at the numbers, 125, 145, 160, 165, these are all in the 100s. There's only one number in the 200s and one in the 500s. So actually, this mean is bigger than all the numbers except for 1. And the median, well, 185, it's kind of typical of most of the pages that she read. She had about half were below 185, half were 185 or above. So it seems to me as though the median definitely would be the better one. So we'd want to use the median. And the reason why we'd want to use the median is because it is closer. It is closer to the, or to most, we'll say, to most of the numbers, or the number, just say numbers. It's closer to most of the numbers that we have in the data set. And the mean, we'll say, the mean was bigger or greater than all but one number. And so why do you think the mean was bigger than all but one number? What made that so big? Because typically the mean's the better one to go with. Well, it was this number right here, this 510. This is called an outlier. And so that outlier made it so the mean was skewed a bit. Well, it says Makika wants to impress her English teacher by showing how much she read over the summer. Should she use the mean or the median to describe the data? Well, I think this is a terrible question because they're asking this person to lie to their teacher. Well, here she's not lying to herself. She wanted to know what she typically read, and so she used the median. But here in this question, they're implying that she lied. And if she's going to end up lying, then she'd want to end up using the mean. And why would she want to use the mean? Well, the mean gives a higher number. And if it's a higher number, it seems, we'll say, it makes it appear she read more than she actually did. So I wouldn't recommend you doing what she wants to do here. I'd typically go with what she really read, be truthful. But if she wants to lie, that's the way she'd end up doing it. And that's what statistics is all about. It's all about trying to convey information. And sometimes people convey information in the wrong way. They try to make something look better than it really appears. And you got to be very leery when you look at statistical analysis and think about which is actually true and which is not. And that's why it's important for us to learn these things so that you can see that sometimes people can skew data so it looks like it means it's, like in this case, that she read more than she really did. And so we've got to be aware of that, and that's why we go over this stuff. We're going to go over some more problems in part 2, so check that out.